Please feel free to let me know what your routine is, to offer me new products that maybe I should try. I'm always looking for new things. I love makeup, and so I'm always having fun with it. So without a further ado, let's go into my brow routine. Um, First, I would say I love to get my brows threaded. It is my favorite. I know some people like waxing. I just love getting my brows threaded. However, when I am unable to get to the shop, or I'm just in between and I just need to, get a couple of hairs off of my face, I'm not the best at tweezing. So what I do is I outline my brow with a brow pencil. This is the brow pencil I'm using today. Normally I outline with a black just so I can see the line very clear and it's not like mixed in with my hairs. But I outline the shape of my brows that I want. And any hairs that's sticking outside of that line, I use the Nair face cream, and it works just like regular Nair for your legs or anything. It's just formulated for the face. So it has sweet almond oil in it, and it says for your upper lip, chin, and face. I have never used it for my upper lip. Well, I did use it for my upper lip once. I take that back. I'm sorry. But it's a face cream, and it has moisturizers in it. Like I said, sweet almond oil. And so I use this with a sponge. Now, this is a sponge that came in a kit that I bought. But these are the same sponges that come in our makeups that we don't really, a lot of us don't use, and we use brushes instead. But I use it with this. So when I outline, I just put a little bit of the cream onto the sponge, and I outline around the line and around the top all the way in like a nice thick layer, and I let that sit and then just wipe away. Now, I don't know if you can see, but I have some stubborn hairs like right around here and right around here that didn't come off, and I normally just kind of tweeze those few little hairs out. But I couldn't find my tweezers today, so the hairs are there, but that's okay because I'm going to show you how to cover those hairs so that you don't really see them, and chisel out a nice brow. So again, let's go straight into brows. Okay, so the first thing I do is using my spoolie. I always get like, I'm just like, so, okay, so I use a spoolie first, and I use the spoolie to just, I'm going to get in a little closer. I use the spoolie to just brush my hairs in the direction that I want them to go. And like I said, I have some stubborn hairs, but I brush them up just so I get a clear view of that line there at the bottom, and then I just kind of brush them over in the direction that I want them to go. And that's just going to help me with knowing my shape. I don't know if you can see, but I don't really have a tail at the end, and I love a brow with a tail. So I'm going to go in with a pencil. Now, this is just a brown eyeliner pencil that I bought from Walgreens like a long time ago. It's like the name of stuff is not even on it anymore. But whoever you like, to use as far as your brow pencils go. I know NYX has a very good brow pencil. Like I said, I'm using an eyeliner pencil, so whatever works for you and whatever color works for you. And I start here from about here. I give maybe a little less than an inch here. I leave open just because I still want it to have a natural look. So I go in. Am I close enough? Can you see me? Okay, I go in here, and I start using small strokes to just carve out the shape that I want to have. And I mean, I'm very lightly touching my face, and I go out. I should have sharpened my pencil a little bit more, but again, work with me, guys. So yeah. Yeah, and then I do the same at the top, short strokes to just kind of outline the brow shape is all we're doing. We're just outlining the brow shape. We are not filling with this pencil. We are just outlining the shape. And then I'm going to show you how to fill in. Don't feel like you have to have the perfect line. because we're going to work on the line later. And so that's what that looks like. It's just carved out. I just carved out the shape that I want. And sometimes I do different shapes. Sometimes, like right here, this is really rounded. Sometimes I go with a flat line. Whatever shape works for you. Then I take an angled brush, and this is a Eco Tools angled brush. I believe I got this from CVS. So it's just a small angled brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work that line and soften that line out, but I'm going to work that product into my brow. So I'm just going to pull up here. Into the brow, and I'm going to do the same at the top. I'm just going to work it down into the brow, and I have to like really resist the urge to like lift my brow a lot. I try not to do that. And so, you do it, and you look, you do it, you look. And so I'm gonna go here just to kind of etch out my line a little bit more so that I can see it. Just right there on the end. And you see how like the tip is really fat, but I'm gonna fix that later. So for the most part, I just want to work that in there. And so it's gonna make my brow a little bit darker and a little bit fuller looking. So that's what I'm doing there. Like I said, working that line up in there and the top line down in there. Top down, bottom up. Top down, bottom up. Okay, and I'm going to go back in with my spoolie just to make sure I'm keeping the shape that I want. Now, I'm looking at it and it looks like it's like still kind of fat right around here. That is okay, because we're going to fix that. Or you may see how it's kind of like fatter here and thin here. We're going to fix all of that. So don't feel like you have to get your line perfect when you're first working on it. After that, I'm going to go in with my NYX brow gel that I showed you earlier in chocolate. I'm using chocolate. And I'm just going to put a small pea size on the back of my hand. And when I say a small pea size, I mean a small pea size on the back of my hand. And I'm not even, that size is good enough for both brows, but I'm just going to use it here. And so I'm going to go in and using small wisp type movement, I'm going to go in that way. And I'm just going to fill in some more. So I alternate between my spoolie to help move the product around where I don't have to use a whole lot of product. And it's starting to look full in the way that I want it. I go down here and at the top just to give it a little bit of fullness. But like I said, I'm trying to do it so I make sure you all can see what I'm doing. But I'm just using like what's on the brush. I still have that small pea size on my finger and on the back of my hand. And so I'm trying to work a little bit faster with it, because like I said, it will dry and become hard to work with, almost like a pomade does. So I go back in, and at this point, myself, I'm satisfied with that. I'm satisfied with the shape. I'm satisfied with the color that it is. Again, I'm just using residue off of my brush. I'm not putting more product on it, and just kind of going in small wisps across there. Now, the next step that I do is I use my LA Girl Pro Conceal, and we're going to use that. I'm using the color Toffee. I'm going to put some of that on the back of my hand, a very small amount, again, to just warm the product. Now, the LA Girl Pro Concealer comes with a brush on the tips, and sometimes I use that It comes with a brush, if you can see the brush on the tip, and sometimes I use that, or sometimes I go in and use a very small detail brush. I'm not sure where this particular brush came from. I can't even tell you, but it's just a small detail brush. But today I'm going to use the brush on the that came with the LA Girl, that came on the concealer that comes with it. I'm going to use that brush to etch out the brow. So I still put it on the back of my hand because I want to warm the product, and that's just going to make the true color come out. It's going to make it smoother and easier for me to use and manipulate. So I'm just going to etch out that line the same way I did with the pencil. And I use small widths. Again, if your line is not perfect, do not worry about that. The point is, because you will see how, like, I got some down there, it's okay. And then you're going to want to go in across the top. And so going in across the top, I'm going to use small whips. I'm using small whips. There. And I take it here, and when I get to the end here on my tip, I like to actually draw the tip out a little bit so that I have the point that I want. And then I go back and just look at certain little areas. Like here is where I have some of those stubborn hairs. So I go back and I do that. Now, I'm not someone, I know we see a lot of people with a really blocked brow. I don't really care for a blocked brow. So I just kind of try to angle it a little bit, kind of round the edges out. But that's my own personal step. That's not a step you have to do. So I just try and make sure that all of that is in the way that I want it and the way that I like it. So I'm just, again, etching out the lines, covering some of those stubborn hairs that wouldn't come out until I can get to them with my tweezers. And so that's what that looks like. And so then the next thing that we are going to do, if you can see, make sure you can see it. The next thing I'm going to do is just blend all of that out. And keep in mind that, you know, most times this is a step before, you know, your BB creams and all that. But if you can blend it out well enough, you don't have to put anything over it. Like sometimes, as long as my brows are done, I am good with going out with just my brows done. And I still do all of these steps. I just make sure I blend really good. And so what I'm going to use today is I'm going to use my flat, I'm going to use a beauty blender. But this particular beauty blender is flat on the bottom, whereas I have another beauty blender that's round at the bottom. I'm going to use my flat one because I want to be able to use the tip and the flat part. And so that's what I'm going to use. And I'm going to use my fingers just because it works for me. So I just start to blend that down, that concealer down, and I try and work on that line there. I blend that out into my face. I watched a video earlier this week where the girl was telling everybody to blend down. I don't suggest blending down because, like I stated earlier, you want to keep the elasticity in your skin, and so I always recommend blending up. So I blend everything up. The only thing I blend down a little bit is here, and really I don't blend it down. I try and blend it like out, you know, almost like I'm pulling the skin. So I just very lightly, and then I go in with my beauty blender and I just work around that line and around the top line until it's blended very well. Yeah. And I just keep going. If you think you've blended enough, someone once told me, if you think you've blended enough, then keep blending. So blend, blend, blend is what I say. So I blend, blend, blend. And even just now from like the blending, I can see where, I don't know where I just set my, okay. So I can see where, I had like a little like, and this is just me and my stuff. My I see where I had like a little bit of a spot right there, and so I just kind of blend it back out right there, and then with that spot right there that I just blended out. Again, this is just my personal steps because I don't know if anyone else can see it, but I see it and I don't really like it. So I just kind of clean it up right there. I'm sorry, my video stopped. So I just go in right there, like I was saying, and I just kind of clean it up. And so I'm going to use the bottom end of my beauty blender, and I'm just going to go in and there. And so the last thing that I'm going to do just to help everything stay in place and secure it is I'm going to go in with my, I'm going to go in with my NYX brow mascara, and I'm just going to set everything with that. And so this is in the color chocolate as well, so it will be like a little lighter, so I may have to like spoolie a little bit just to get it to all blend really well. But I just lightly brush it as if it were a spoolie. I just lightly brush. I'm not looking to like change, fill in or anything with that. I'm just going in to set. And so I look and I like, and that's it. That is my brow, and that is how I do my brow. How you do your brow, do what works for you is what I suggest. Again, comment, subscribe, like, share, leave me any suggestions, anything you have questions about. Feel free to message me and let me know, and I'll be looking to do a video on that. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.